Hello, everyone. Hi. Um, I may just be another minute or two. I am getting myself set up for the morning as well as waiting for the patch notes to actually drop. So I'm just big chillin'. Um, I'll be on in like 5 minutes, and then uh, perhaps we can yap for a minute or something until it is officially time. All right, I'll be back. All right, everyone. Apologies for the wait. The patch notes are live, so I am going to, excuse me, I am going to move us on over. Just a moment. apologies for the gap in streaming, by the way. I have been busy and also sick, which are two things you don't want to be at the same time, but I am both quite frequently. So that's just my life at the moment. But it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to move us over. Hello. Let me turn down the music a little more. Awesome. Wonderful. So, uh, I am just going to get us started. Um, People are free to jump in whenever. And yeah, let's get through this. I've been very, very, very excited for this update. Um, I have been looking forward to it for quite a long time. So let's just get into it. YouTuber voice. Okay. Update 43, Jade Shadows Constellations. This is the title art. Image description, Orion's back is to the viewer with wrath in hand as he stares down a colossal version of Sirius. Sirius's aura appears to shake the very space around him as he wields the Pride Scythe. Happy Pride, by the way. Update 43, Jade Shadows Constellations. A new and terrible education awaits on Venus. The Jade Shadows Constellations quest continues Stalker's story with an unlikely reality where both outcomes of a past decision are in an endless battle to prevail over the other. Step into this new cinematic quest as the Shadow and put a stop to this eternal conflict. Come face to face with Sirius and Orion and their mentors. Orion is guided by Vena, Garuda's proto-frame, the blood-drenched witch. Sirius is mentored by Ryoku, Ash's proto-frame, the Blade Swarm assassin. Both sides vying to erase the other in order to secure their future. Eternalism and all that. Completing the quest will unlock access to the Uranus Proxima, where you can play two new Railjack missions, Scoria's Angel and the Kuva Witch. Join either Vena or Ryoku with their own Railjack and crew in an epic hunt to take the other down. Completing these missions will reward you with new resources used to trade at a secret vendor in Pontus Tower, a new hub located in Uranus. Just a moment. Wield the power of the stars with Sirius and Orion, our 65th Warframe. Two Warframes in one, in a constant duel for supremacy, they bring with them their signature heavy scythes, Pride and Wrath, each granting their own melee buffs and slam attacks. Hi, baby! Hello! You got here just in time. I just started reading. I'm still on this, first block of text. Yeah. So far, it's all blah, blah, blah. You're gonna play a quest, and then you'll get some Railjack missions, and also, Sirius and Orion are here. Okay. Embrace Bloodlust with Vena's Gemini skin for Garuda, or become a calculated killer with Ryoku's Gemini skin for Ash. Each comes with their own Gemini emote, showcasing their rivals' disposition and lethality. I should also jump back a paragraph and say it's interesting that they're doing they're leaning into slamming stuff for these sides after they just nerfed slam shit I think earlier this year or late last year, just because it was so busted. But slam is still pretty powerful. You just have to actually get some height with it. You can't just spam it from low height and it'll obliterate everything. Sirius is the green one, and Orion is the red one. I like both quite a lot, but I think I do favor Orion's design, just slightly. I like the little stalkery bits that he has going on. Vena and Ryoku aren't the only blade proficient warriors in this update. Spears are also flying from Styanax Prime. Become the ultimate golden hoplite with Styanax Prime, Aventus Prime, Aphrodite Prime, and his Prime accessories with Styanax Prime Access. The stars aligned and brought you even more to gaze upon in this update, Tenno. Knowledge glides on dark wings with the Dante Titanus collection. Railjack missions can now be played on the Steel Path difficulty. The Obex, Destreza, Stug, Ballistica, and Vectis Incarnans are also here. I am so excited to try out these new Incarnans, especially my little guy, the Stug. I love you. I love you, Stug. Giving it a little pat with my cursor. Stug Gaming. New Warframe augment mods for Dante, Noko, Kome, and Temple have been added to faction syndicates. Nidus' abilities have received a touch-up, and we've packed this update with loads of quality of life changes and much more to discover. I am definitely gunning for those Kome and Temple augments, because I love both of those frames, and I would like to play around with their augments. The Temple one especially, because Temple doesn't exactly need the defensiveness, as 3 already is like good for shield gating, but the Overguard generation could be fun. We'll see. I saw a guy spend like $1,200 buying Stugs for his friend every day until it got its Incarnate. That's really funny. And also just like a horrible waste of money. Don't do that. Thank you to Sumo Digital for co-developing the Railjack content as well as the Vena and Ryoku cosmetic items in this update. Fuck yeah. Spoiler courtesy, blah blah blah. While everyone will find the truth eventually, we ask you to preserve the mystery for fellow Tenno as they enjoy the update at their own pace, as this is a sequel to Jade Shadows. We also ask to be mindful of spoilers from that quest as well, as some players may be playing it for the first time. Please read our spoiler courtesy PSA to learn more about how you can post with best spoiler-free practices. So yeah, just don't spoil shit until everyone gets a chance to play it. Yada yada yada. Update 43 is a mainline update, meaning that everything the team has been working on since the launch of Update 42, the Shadowgrapher, is in this update, with the obvious exception of content that is not ready to be released. It is very likely, as it is with all mainline updates, that things slip through the cracks, so we will be watching for bug reports and feedback in the dedicated Jade Shadows Constellation subforums to address in follow-up hotfixes, which I'm assuming will be plentiful because they have warned that both Sirius and Orion and Steel Path Railjack are buggy as all hell. It seems like it was just one of those things where like they just had like a billion fires to put out and they could not put out all of them prior to launch. So I'm expecting them to be very funny. If any of the terms above are new to you, visit the Warframe lexicon for updates to learn more about Warframe's development cycle. That's really handy, actually. I never knew about that. Download sizes for the update, DLSS and FSR updates. We've also updated our DLSS from 3 to 4 and added FSR 3.1 as a replacement to the previous FSR 2.2. FSR 3.1 can also be used with DirectX 12 and DirectX 11 GPUs. With these upgrades, you can expect an overall improvement to GPU timings and graphics performance, as well as an improved visual quality compared to the previous versions of these upscalers. Table of contents. We highly encourage you to read the entirety of the patch notes to see everything that's been wrapped into this update, but if you are looking for something in specific, simply search the following keywords to jump to its dedicated section in the spoilers below. So this is just kind of everything that's here. God damn, I'm glad I brought water, because I will be needing it. The same promo image, but it's Orion in the front with Sirius in the back. Or rather, Sirius in the front looking towards Orion in the background. New quest, Jade Shadows Constellations. When a great sentient summons the Stalker to a bizarre conflict unfolding in the Orb Valis, he must confront the shocking consequences of his own actions. The shadows of his future, Sirius and Orion, have come calling in this new cinematic quest, and they are not alone. Joining them are their mentors, Vena, loyal to Orion, and Ryoku, loyal to Sirius. Each has taken one of the feuding warframes under their respective wings to find, stalker, and ensure the survival of their future over the other. Prerequisite: complete Jade Shadows quest. Duration, roughly 30 to 40 minutes, so about the same as the original quest. Quest introduces new proto-frames, Vena and Ryoku. Instead of learning about them from the Kim system, you'll do so in the new Railjack missions, and after recruiting them as crew for your personal Railjack. Details on all of that and more. Excuse me. Excuse me. Whew. I am a horrible repeat sneezer. Apologies for that. Also, I didn't realize the music stopped. Putting the music back on. This quest introduces new proto-frames. Vena and Ryoku. I already read all that. Okay. Image description, screenshot of Orion's and Sirius's swaddle Cyandanas, both of which resemble wings that match the sun's primary color. On the left is Orion's, who has the Cyandana placed on his left shoulder, and on the right is Sirius, with the Cyandana on his right shoulder. Oh, so it's like a Cyandana made of, like, the swaddles they had when they were babies. That's cute. Wait. Okay. Quest rewards. Completing the quest will reward you with the following. More information in dedicated sections. Inbox message rewards. Sirius and Orion's main blueprint. Sirius's swaddle Cyandana. Orion's swaddle Cyandana. New displays by Eileen Kai Hing Kwan. So, 2 displays with each of them on their own, and then a third that's art of the 2 of them together, presumably. Unlocks Uranus Proxima for the following 2 new Railjack missions, the Kuva Witch and Scoria's Angel. Pontus Tower Hub, which grants you access to the following. A secret vendor, Ryoku, Vena, and their respective Railjacks. The new Railjack missions can also be started from their respective Railjack docks in the tower. A new quest-specific Honoria. Uranus Proxima. Completing the Jade Shadows Constellations quest unlocks the Uranus Proxima, where 2 new Railjack missions and a new hub called the Pontus Tower reside. Let's see here. Image description, Vena and Ryoku both stare at us with backdrops of their respective capital ship interiors behind them. Vena's red ship has a spotlight shining overhead, while Ryoku's green ship seems full of smoke. New Railjack missions. Pick a side, Tenno. Will you team up with Vena or Ryoku? 2 new Railjack missions are available to play from the Uranus Proxima after you complete the Jade Shadows Constellations quest, Scoria's Angel, and the Kuva Witch. Take command of Vena or Ryoku's fully equipped Railjacks to aid in their objective of breaking into the other capital ships and dispatching them. Each mission is uniquely tied to aiding either Vena or Ryoku in their skirmishes against one another. This is pretty self-explanatory. How to access. From navigation. Enter navigation and select the Railjack toggle in the top right corner. Select Uranus Proxima. Select either of the 2 missions, normal or steel path. From Pontus Tower, you can walk or fast travel to either of them. Proceed through the portal behind Vena or Ryoku to enter the Railjack dock. Interact with the console on the right to board their Railjack. Matchmaking is set to solo prior to entering the tower. You will also see the option to board your personal Railjack. Select Begin Mission from the navigation in the Railjack to start the mission. You will also have the option to toggle the difficulty between normal and steel path. Gameplay: ally with Vena or Ryoku and embark on a treacherous journey in new Railjack missions that combine the skirmish and assassinate game modes into one. Each mission begins with a Railjack combat sequence to thwart the opposition, Protoframe's operations, and gather intel to board their capital ship. Once you've reached the ship, you and your ally will fight through hazards, traps, and special enemy units to go face-to-face with their rival in a final epic arena battle. Coming out victorious will complete the mission and reward you for your efforts, including special resources for each mission to purchase goods from a secret vendor in Pontus Tower. You know, these guys should both just love me immediately because I've done Ascension like 50 billion times. I have escorted you both as children so many times. You should just love me automatically, and you shouldn't make your dear old dad have to choose sides. Just saying. Let's see. Both missions have the following features. Can be played on normal or steel path, and steel path is now introduced for all Railjack missions. Which I'm assuming will come with additional rewards and probably like steel essence drop. Maybe you'll get boarded by some acolytes or something. That would be fun. It would be fun if in the middle of a dogfight you have to stop piloting and fucking fight an acolyte. Matchmaking. While playing with the squad, pre-made and public matching, you use Venna and Ryoku's special Railjacks, not your own. They're styled to each Protoframe's aesthetics and come fully equipped with their very own personalized loadouts. Playing solo, follow these steps in order to use your personal Railjack. Set matchmaking to solo from your base of operations. Open navigation and select Pontus Tower. In Pontus Tower, proceed to the boarding console in Venna and Ryoku's Railjack dock. Following the above steps will trigger a secondary boarding option, board personal Railjack solo, to appear on the console, and you can begin the mission from the navigation console. Any changes you wish to make to your personal Railjack must be done in the dry dock. You must follow the above steps in order to use your personal Railjack. Starting the mission solo from outside the tower will default to Venna or Ryoku's Railjack. Crew, when you're playing with the squad, Venna and Ryoku will join you, as well as their own crew. And you can use the tactical menu to reassign people to various roles. Playing solo, you'll use your own personal crew. Let's see. Railjack intrinsics. When using Venna and Ryoku's Railjack, regardless of your personal progress with each intrinsic class, when you are playing the Kuva Witch and Scorious Angel, you have access to all the rank 10 perks, which is really handy. Using personal Railjack, your own intrinsic ranks are used in these missions. Arcwing is disabled in these missions, which is interesting. I think this is... I can't think of another Railjack mission that doesn't let you use Arcwing. That's interesting. Oh, the Forge has unlimited resources, too. So you can just restock your Omni Tool and your Dome charges and everything just, like, infinitely. You don't have to, like, kill guys and pick up shit to, like, craft more. Okay. And now these are the descriptions for each of the missions. Scorious Angel, skirmish against Ryoku. Venna is out for blood, Ryoku's to be specific. Join her in her Railjack, the Marrowbone, to sniff out his capital ship by any means necessary, including ram-sledding his ship with blood-infused ice. I'm holding my tongue on that. But I like it. I feel a way about it. Locating Ryoku on his home soil means one thing: he and his Bladeswarm units must be taken down. Satisfy Venna's bloodlust and complete the mission by defeating Ryoku in a final showdown. Venna's Railjack, the Marrowbone, outfitted for interception and maximum damage. Excuse me. The Marrowbone is as powerful and punishing as the witch who commands her. Take flight in this bloody monstrosity and ally with Venna to locate Ryoku and bleed him dry. It comes pre-equipped with the following Plexus mods. I'm not going to read all of these, but you can look at them if you would like. I've highlighted them. Give you like 5 seconds. Cool. Components. It's all Mark III shit. Okay. The Marrowbone crew. As mentioned above, Venna will join you in the mission as well as her crew listed below, who will occupy roles that aren't filled by squad mates. Slot 1, Corsat Dever. Slot 2, Barnacle. Slot 3, Sprig Core. I really like Barnacle. I want to see Barnacle. I hope Barnacle's a funny little guy. Image description. Screenshot of Ryoku's capital ship, a large dark gray vessel of cylindrical design. Green holographic flags adorn the ship, which has blue barrel-like attachments both on its underside and on the right end. I'm enjoying. This ship has like kind of a corpusy vibe to it, with the text scrolls and like the holographic shit. I think that's neat. Ryoku's capital ship. You won't only be dodging Ryoku's blades here, as he's fortified his warship with many booby traps. Sorry, I'm 12. It's fine. A stealth master won't let you get very far in his own domain. Image description, screenshot of the interior of Ryoku's capital ship. Green pools of toxic liquid fill the bottom levels of the ship's interior and give off a faint haze. In the distance, we see a familiar sensor bar meant to detect any intruders. Within the many laser walls and obstacles, a secret room resides. Only those who can embody the quick thinking of an assassin can find their way in to receive the Kaizen Signa. Ancient assassin techniques meet future technology. Okay, so there's a hidden room on the ship, and you get a Signa if you find it. That's fucking cool. Wait, hold on. And this is a screenshot of presumably Ryoku wearing the Signa. Image description, Ryoku poses as if about to punch a foe while wearing the Kaizen Signa aboard his ship. The Signa's light green energy forms what looks like a scouter or scanner over his right eye. The Kuva Witch skirmish against Venna. Ryoku is turning the tables. It's Venna's turn to bleed. Join him in his railjack Santovan's oath to take out her operations and put a stop to her for good in her capital ship. Sorry, plosives. Make use of a dangerous weapon Venna has been toying with to break into her ship. Defeat Venna and her Blood Frenzy units in a final bloody battle to complete the mission. Ryoku's Railjack, Santovan's Oath. Befitting a master assassin, Santovan's Oath employs cloaking, ranged weapons, and regenerative ammunition to strike swiftly with deadly precision. Climb aboard Ryoku's vessel and ally yourself with the Ash Protoframe for a chance to hunt Venna and cut her down to size. It comes pre-equipped with the following. All of these. And all of these components, which are not terribly different from the ones on Venna's ship. As mentioned above, Ryoku will join you on the mission, as well as his crew listed below, who will occupy squad slots that aren't filled by players. So we got Orpharon, Piliazzi, and Domito. And then this is Venna's ship, presumably. It's got more of that like corpusy stuff going on. Image description. Screenshot of Venna's capital ship. A large vessel shaped almost like a tuning fork with thrusters at the base. The ship features mixtures of grays, black, and reds as its colors. Venna's capital ship. Crimson pools run through the witch's capital ship. A bloody sight. A lair fit for a blood-frenzied and a potentially deadly end for all those who enter. Image description. Screenshot of the interior of Venna's capital ship. Sparks fly overhead as a decapitated statue of Parvos Granum stands in the center of the room. At the base of the statue lies a red splatter, which is also on the face of the statue. Yeah, fuck that guy. Cut his head off. Go for it. Within its blood-splattered walls, a treasure is stowed, and only those who have a keen eye can find the way into a secret room to receive the Karotic Signa. A blood-stained gaze washes all in red. Ooh, that is really fucking pretty. Hold on. That is a cool-ass Signa. Oh my gosh. Image description. Vena models the Karatic Signa, a wide V-shaped mask of flowing blood while aboard her ship. The mask covers her entire face, leaving only her lips revealed. New enemies. Vena and Ryoku aren't operating alone. You'll encounter new railjack and ground enemies to fight off in the hunt to find their commanding officer. They can be scanned for codex entries to learn about their vulnerabilities and reward drops. In the Kuva Witch, you'll encounter her Blood Frenzy units. In Scoria's Angel, you will encounter his Blade Swarm units. Completing the Kuva Witch and Scoria's Angels mission will reward you with the following. So there are 2 different currencies for each one, so you'll realistically want to play a good bit of both. Crimson Talent rewarded from Scoria's Angel, and Emerald Talent rewarded from Kuva Witch. Image description: the Crimson and Emerald Talents are on display with Vena and Ryoku respectively behind them as darkened backgrounds. Text below them indicates that the Crimson Talent is rewarded from Scoria's Angel and the Emerald Talent from the Kuva Witch. So that's a guaranteed drop. Receive the following tokens of Ryoku and Vena's favor for aiding them in their respective missions. They are used to purchase items from a secret vendor in Pontus Tower. Emerald Talent. A heavy token from Sirius's Tortured Future, rewarded from the Kuva Witch mission. Crimson Talent. A weighty token from Orion's Broken Future, rewarded from the Scoria's Angel mission. They are earned in the following ways in their respective missions. Guaranteed end of mission rewards from Normal, which is only level 12 to 16, and Steel Path, which is a more respectable 18 to 22 per. Okay. I see now. Okay, yeah, these are the numbers of rewards. For some reason in my head I was like, oh, are these the levels? This feels, why is it only like level 18 in Steel Path? I should have used context clues. No, Steel Path you get 18 to 22, which is a small increase, but as I found with a lot of Steel Path farming is that adds up whenever you're repeating the missions a lot. So yeah, definitely seems recommended to do this on Steel Path. Rewarded during travel to capital ship stage based on your success shooting the targets. So either on an Aura Worm or a Ram Sled. That's fun. Do I just get to ride an Aura Worm? Wait. I get to ride an Aura Worm through space? Holy shit. That's right. It's Aura Worm gaming. We're Aura Worm gaming out here, ladies and gentlemen. And they. And they. Drop table rewards. You will also have a chance at the following drop table rewards per mission. Scoria's Angel, you will have a guaranteed chance at Sirius and Orion's component blueprints or the main and component blueprints for Wrath. You will have a guaranteed chance at one of the following new arcanes, which are gone over in the new arcanes section. I remember hearing a bit about Arcane Sculptor. I have not heard much about the rest. Oh yeah, whip out your worm. It's Worm City, everybody. So, primary compression, arcane sculptor, secondary cryogenic, melee assimilation. I'm going to play a little game. I'm going to take fun guesses at what these are. Primary compression, I'm guessing, is some sort of scaling buff that is based on how little multi-shot you have. So it works best with non-multi-shot builds. That's just my guess. Arcane Sculptor, I believe I saw this had something to do with items or summoned equipment. I don't remember entirely. I could be totally off base on that. I literally saw one YouTube short mentioning it a month ago. Secondary cryogenic, I'm imagining that's gonna be another like Cascadia Flare, what is it, secondary irradiate, where it's like a damage buff or like a status buff that applies on like 10 frost stacks or whatever. And then melee assimilation, I have no idea. My first thought would be a grouping tool, but that's melee vortex already. So I don't know what melee assimilation could be. I am not sure. I guess we'll find out. Let's go on this mystery journey together. During the ram sled stage, you have a chance at the following, depending on your targeting success. So I'm guessing you just shoot stuff on rails while the ram sled / aura worm apparently moves towards the capital ship. You can get railjack components, crimson talents, railjack resources, endo credits, and then all of these appear to be the same, except you would be getting the main and component blueprints for pride and emerald talents instead of crimson talents. For more information on the drop rates, please see our official drop tables. New elite crew for personal railjack. You can recruit Vena, Ryoku, Latrox Un, and Jarka Lar for your personal railjack from the secret vendor in Pontus Tower using Crimson and Emerald talents. Latrox Un? The Corpus guy? You could just have him on your railjack? That's funny. I like that, actually. Hold on. I want to put that old man on my railjack. You must have the rank 10 command intrinsic in order to recruit the new elite crew members. So I'm going to have to farm some railjack because I don't have the rank 10 command intrinsic. But I'll do it for Latroxoon. I just realized I got jump scared because I like there was like half a second where I heard the song in the background, and I recognize now that it's A Million Times by Fiddlehead because I like that song. But in my brain I heard the like chords during that opening bit, and I was like, is this fucking Everlong? I almost got fucking Dave Grohl jump scared on my own stream. Okay. And these are the stats of the elite crew. Vena, the Queen of Gore, is ready to join the crew. She has a special trait, killing an enemy heals all nearby allies by 500 for over 10 seconds. And she has good combat and endurance. And decent gunnery. Ryoku, Scoria's most deadly assassin. Aboard your railjack is here to serve. Trait increased critical damage multiplier by 300% while health is below 50. He's got decent gunnery, decent repair, good, like really good combat, decent endurance. So he's a bit more all around than Vena is. Latrox Un, marooned corpus researcher, unwilling resident on Deimos, and ally of circumstance to the Entrati. Happy to see a non-infested face. I fucking love this guy. Can I just say I fucking love this dude. I love how miserable he is. I don't know if she's still listening, but Maven and I have been farming Entrati stuff for her. And every time we get a bounty with him, I'm like overjoyed because he just like whines. He just fucking whines about how he hates being on Deimos. He hates the infested, and he doesn't. He's like, he's like mid on the Entrati. He just doesn't want to be there. I love him. This poor fucking man. He hasn't seen like a real human face in so long. Trait activates a protective shield when taking near lethal damage. He has a really good repair score, decent combat score, and a pretty good endurance score. So he is good for that. Jarka Lar, freed from the Grenier Queens, Jarka stands at the ready to join your crew. 100%, 150% critical chance with rifles, decent gunnery, good combat, good endurance, so same stats as Vena. I don't remember who Jargalar is. Hold on. Let me do a little search. Okay, this is no one. This is not an established character. This is a new person, at least to my knowledge, because searching them shows nothing but these patch notes. Um, so, new hub, Pontus Tower, a place nestled in Uranus of great significance to our characters in the Jade Shadows constellation quest. Vena and Ryoku, along with the Railjack docks, are stationed here, as well as a new secret vendor who offers you many treasures. Image description, screenshot of the navigation UI showing Pontus Tower in the Uranus region of the star chart. How to access, we've already kind of been over this. Secret vendor, the identity of this secret vendor may only be revealed once you've completed the Jade Shadows Constellations quest. Once uncovered, visit them in Pontus Tower to trade your emerald and crimson talents for a plethora of items. I'm putting my money on Hunhao. I think it would be really funny if Hunhao's fate for the foreseeable future of Warframe was to be a vendor for 2 specific Railjack quests. I think that would be really funny. Once uncovered, visit them in Pontus Tower to trade your emerald and crimson talents for a plethora of items. Purchase with both crimson and emerald talents. Sirius and Orion's main component blueprints, which you can purchase using crimson and emerald talents if you do not get the drops, similar to pretty much every other Warframe grind in the game. Jade's Victory, Syandana. Okay. It is a combined version of the 2 Swaddle Syandanas. You use them to craft, but it doesn't consume them. You get to keep them, which I appreciate. New arcanes, we've been over those. Personal Railjack, crew recruits, Hunhao's Trinket Blueprint. Blueprint for an unidentified item, perhaps some ancient piece of old war decor. It's totally fucking Hunhao. The vendor's gonna be fucking Hunhao. Okay. Yep, that's goodbye. You're getting banned. Pontus Tower capture a scene and 7,000 kuva, which is a respectable amount of kuva. For just a moment. Right. Ooh, those ephemeras look nice. Image description, composite image of Ash wearing the Sindir ephemera and Garuda wearing the Visceracta ephemera. The former creates a blurry field of energy around Ash, while the latter coats Garuda in flowing blood. Purchased with Crimson Talents, Wrath's main and component blueprints, recruit Vena, the ephemera, which has the description, bathe in the life essence of your enemies. The Blood Frenzy domestic drone. This drone might leave the orbiter's floors even more of a mess than it found them. I'm putting that in my back room, and it's gonna get sloppy. It's gonna get sloppy. Blood Frenzy Nagantaka skin. A Bloodthirsty Nagantaka skin for those who prefer to use a crossbow at close range. Blood Frenzy Ballistica skin, which I believe the Ballistica is one of the ones getting the new Incarnon Genesis adapters. I think we read that earlier, but I've also read a lot of things in the last 45 minutes. This skin for the Ballistica embodies the philosophy that if your weapon is clean, you're not using it properly. And then the Blood Frenzy Venka skin. Send a gruesome message about the fate of all who encounter these claws with this skin for the Venka. Blood Frenzy Lisette skin. Fly into the next battle covered in what remains of the last. Celestial Clash Somachord track from the official Jade Shadows Constellation soundtrack. Kuvowicz Capturacine relationship goals poster for the expression of extremely normal and measured feelings towards the object of your affection. Faint traces of a fervon imply the artist may have had a mechanical hand. Okay. This word. So this was drawn by Rusalka, whatever it was. Um, who is the object of her? Is it Victor? Is this gonna be art of like Victor? That would be really funny. Either way, I want it because it's more Rusalka shit, and I love Rusalka. Um, but we'll see. I'll hang it up in my back room. Purchase with Emerald Talents, main and component blueprints for Pride, recruit Ryoku for your Railjack. Send your ephemera, obscure the identity of the killer within this translucent ephemera, the mark of a Scoria assassin. Blade Swarm Domestic Drone. This drone eradicates dust and dirt with quiet efficiency. Blade Swarm Lisette Skin. Slip into battle like a shadow. Blade Swarm Vectis Skin. This Vectis Skin's camouflage is designed for long stakeouts, an essential part of any assassin's toolkit. Blade Swarm Rifle Skin. This covert rifle skin is bestowed upon new initiates into the Scoria Order as proof they have completed their training. Blade Swarm Kunai Skin. Strike silently with the subtle Kunai Skin. Blade Swarm Karist Skin. This Karist skin bears the markings of a long-forgotten assassin's order, the Scoria. Sacred Light Soma Chord track from the official soundtrack. Scoria's Angel Capturacine. Cloning 101 poster. Many problems can be solved by the ability to be in two places at once. Many other problems are created this way. Also seemingly drawn by Rusalka. I'm so curious to see these. Wait. I want to know what she was drawing. There's also new Honoria, which I don't know if they're specific to the Emerald talents. Yeah, she's drawing you, baby. She's drawing you because you love her so much. Vendor also offers new Honoria. I'm not sure if they're specific to the Emerald talents or if they'll be available for both. But Scoria's Saint, Keeper of Secrets, the Awoken Sword, Force of Nature, Feelin' Lucky, Plague Bearer, Strikes Twice, and As One. Visit Ryoku and Venna. Ryoku and Venna, along with their Railjacks and crew, are stationed at Pontus Tower. You can visit each of them to launch their respective missions and view their Railjack components and armaments. Cool. You can you can change which of the two suns is the primary between Sirius and Orion from a special room in Pontus Tower. This will apply to all of the Sirius and Orions in your inventory, if you have multiple. Can be done as many times as you like with no cost associated. The change is not immediate, but the new primary sun will take the lead position after leaving the tower. Okay. Steel Path missions. Steel Path Railjack missions. With the advent of this update, a challenge emerges for Tenno who have fortified their ships and raised a fine crew. Steel Path for Railjack. You may now embark on Steel Path versions of Railjack missions to face more difficult foes. Like Arcwing missions, Steel Path Railjack missions have a reduced mission modifier of plus 50 enemy level instead of plus 100. Steel Path Railjack will not feature the increased mod drop chance, but all other modifiers on the Steel Path are unchanged. That said, the mission difficulty is expanded in other ways, so expect an increased number of fighters and cruise ships. If you've already unlocked Steel Path in Star Chart and have completed any Railjack mission in the normal path, then a new option will be presented to you. Okay, so you don't have to do all the Steel Path nodes. It's not going to be like fucking Duviri, where you have to do all 3 Duviri modes in normal for you to unlock Steel Path Duviri stuff. Thank God. Railjack Steel Path Trophy. Smaller number of nodes than usual. Steel Path Railjack has one combined trophy. Complete all Railjack nodes. Does not include free flight, adversary confrontations, or Ryoku/Venice missions on the Steel Path to earn a trophy and 50 Steel Essence. That's pretty good. Acolytes cannot spawn in Railjack. Damn. Damn. A shame. So we're adding Eximus enemies to Steel Path Railjack missions exclusively. Eximus enemies in Steel Path Railjack have a chance to drop Steel Essence when defeated, as well as Riven Slivers. This is our first foray into adding Steel Essence as a drop from normal enemies. We will be closely monitoring acquisition rates when this watches, so they'll be very touch and go with that. I certainly hope they have Jade Eximus. Can you imagine Jade Eximus in space? That shit would fucking blow. That would suck so bad. I would I would be in agony. Railjack changes and fictions. Have a sip of water. Changes. Buff the following Railjack components' unique traits. The Lavan Shield Array is getting increased energy converted to shields. Now at 1500% from 1000%. The Vidar Shield Array increases the radius that shields apply an electricity status to enemies, so it's double what it was now. Zekdi Shield Array increased turret damage from 25% to 100% when shields are damaged. Lavan engines increase top speed when shields are depleted. It's double what it was now. Increased Tenno overshields gained for being launched from Slingshot from 500 to 1200. That's a significant amount. Vidar engines. A lot of this is just numbers, and I don't know enough about Railjack to really care about a lot of these numbers. So I'm gonna skim this mostly. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these are just small stat increases. Some of them are a little more significant. But here's an interesting one. Rank 1 Gunnery Intrinsic now grants a plus 50% damage increase to dorsal and ventral turrets. Remove the 20% increased overheat from the rank 10 Gunnery Intrinsic. I guess the rank 10 Gunnery Intrinsic just had a debuff attached to it. Okay. Cool, guys. Casting Railjack abilities will now display an ability banner if you have the setting enabled. Another sip of water. Okay. Fixes. Fixed pathing issues for Railjack crew in the dry dock if they are assigned as your on-call crew. Fixed Railjack crew member spinning out of control after double-clicking on the assign role button. I've seen that one happen a few times. Fix the Railjack target lead indicator not adjusting if the target is being slowed by a temporary effect. Fixed revive input icon being wrong while bleeding out in a Railjack mission. Fixed client crash after loading into Railjack mission or after a boarding party arrives. Fixed spamming melee inputs while entering a Railjack turret, resulting in players continuously meleeing after leaving the turret. Fixed exiting the dorsal Railjack turret, placing players near the navigation console instead of the turret they just exited. Fixed Ureli being ejected into space if she enters the Railjack's forward artillery while dismounting from Marilina. That's really funny. Turn your skateboard into a springboard. See. Fixed being unintentionally pushed in a direction after boarding your Railjack from the side door in the dry dock. Fixed using Omni Tool to teleport back to Railjack while using an elevator, maintaining upwards motion upon return to Railjack. Fixed a rare crash if disconnecting on the way from a railjack mission to the dojo/hub. Fixed the reliquary drive within the railjack appearing unlit during the activation cinematic. I've seen that happen to multiple people, um, which is really unfortunate because that cinematic is cool. Um, Fixed falling through the map when host migrates while you are doing back-to-back railjack missions, resulting in a function loss. Fixed wonky player positioning after the railjack boarding cutscene. Image description. Sirius and Orion float within space, staring directly at us with scythes in hand. The glowing green energy ring within Pride, held by Sirius, is mirrored on the opposite side of Wrath, held by Orion. Yeah, I noticed that the whatever is the dominant one, so like the green end for Pride and the red end for Wrath, is like the blade end, while the other end is like a counterbalance. I think that's really cool. It's like folded up on the end. New Warframe, Sirius and Orion wield the power of stars in a constant battle for supremacy. The dueling suns, Sirius and Orion, occupy the space of a single Warframe, jockeying for position to rain cosmic destruction upon foes. Sirius and Orion are not available in Teshin's cave upon launch due to them causing double the trouble in Duviri. Rest assured, we'll be adding them to the pool of available Warframes in the future once Dominus Thrax learns to handle being outnumbered. That's funny. That's really funny. Okay. Swapping between Sirius and Orion. Sirius and Orion allow you to swap between two Warframes, unlike Equinox, who shifts between her day and night forms. Sirius and Orion are separate Warframes with their own builds and abilities. Tap to cast your active Warframe's ability, or hold to cast the ability of the inactive Sun, thereby swapping to him. The inactive Sun remains on the battlefield following the primary Sun and attacking enemies in his wake, similar to Wukong's Celestial Twin or a Spectre. Before we get into their kits, we want to go over how equipment and enhancements are shared between Sirius and Orion so you have a better understanding of how they operate. Please note that this list is not comprehensive, but rather serves as a general overview of their quirks. Image description, composite image of two screenshots of the Arsenal UI for Sirius and Orion. In the top screenshot, we see Orion in the first slot with option to swap, upgrade appearance, and utilities. In the bottom screenshot, we can see that Sirius occupies the slot below, and Orion has all the aforementioned options. Shared enhancements and equipment. Sirius and Orion use the same Archon shards, the same loadout, so equipped weapons, companions, etc. Focus lens, which is only installable on Sirius for some reason. Mastery points, health and invigorations. And now their individual enhancements. Let's see, how far down does this go? Okay, this goes quite a ways. Before we get any further, I think I am going to take 5. I'm going to refill my water, and I am perhaps going to order some lunch. All right. I will be back just in a few minutes. Bye-bye. All right, I'm back. Hello, everyone. Um, I have refilled my water. I have Chipotle on the way, and I am ready to keep going. So we are going to do just that, and then I'll have to dip again once my food gets here, just to like grab it. So, where did we leave off? Individual enhancements and equipment. Warframe builds, including mods and arcanes. So you can apply individual mods and arcanes to each of them, which is very fun. That's gonna go a little crazy. Note, auras apply to both Sirius and Orion due to their effects being squad-wide. Uh, duplicate, duplicate auras will not stack when equipped to both. So you technically have 2 aura mods that are always active. That's cool. Which I believe Jade also has 2 aura mod slots, if I'm not wrong. So that kind of creates the same effect, which I think is really cool. Polarities. So you can form them individually. Helmet abilities. The helmet abilities can only be infused on the primary sun. Even if you swap primary suns and infuse an ability on both, the secondary sun will only have the default abilities available in mission. Okay. Helmet abilities with a hold tap mechanic will override the hold to swap mechanic of the ability it was subsume over. So if you infuse Eclipse over Orion's first ability, you'll be able to use both the damage reduction and damage buff mechanic of that ability, but won't be able to swap to Sirius by holding that first ability anymore. Okay, I think I understand how this works. Primary and secondary sun mechanic. When entering a mission, you'll always do so as the primary sun, either Sirius or Orion. You can swap between brothers. Excuse me. You can swap between brothers easily in mission, but the primary sun has access to a few special qualities that the secondary sun does not. They can have a helmet ability infused, as we read above. Only they can use items from the gear wheel. Which is okay, so activating an item from the gear wheel will forcibly swap you back to the primary sun. This is a bug, so they're planning on fixing this hopefully soon. Only the primary sun will walk around in hubs and bases. Sometimes other players will still only see Sirius in hubs, even if Orion is the primary. That's a bug. I'm sure they'll fix that as soon as possible, probably in a hotfix. While these restrictions may seem confusing, think of the secondary sun as an exalted Warframe, except maybe don't tell Sirius and Orion that. The team did their best to give players the most agency when swapping between suns, but there are ultimately limitations on what we could accomplish. I bet this is all testing for the future ability to bring 2 frames into missions and instances. Maybe. I think that would be interesting. I think I definitely think if that were to be a thing, it would definitely be like pretty far off, if only because like the technical requirements of even just getting this one frame doing this is like crazy. But I think the idea of them implementing like a support feature where you can bring in a second Warframe to back you up would be interesting. I would be curious to see how that might shake out. The team did their best to give players the most agency when swapping between suns, but there are ultimately limitations on what we could accomplish. The primary sun changes depending on your progress with the Jade Shadows storyline. Sirius is the default primary sun if you haven't completed the Jade Shadows quest. If you've completed the Jade Shadows quest, the chosen name will become the primary sun. I don't remember which I chose, but I think it might have been Sirius. So I'm not sure. The primary sun could be changed any time in the Pontus Tower after completing the quest. Since Sirius is the default primary sun and therefore Orion is the default secondary sun, only one copy of Orion could be owned. Upgrade and appearance changes to Orion apply to all Orions if multiple Sirius and Orions are owned. Interesting. I think that's neat. It's a weird technical limitation, but I always like hearing about this stuff and learning like what walls they run up against in developing something that is like their engine was previously like really not made to do. Sirius and Orion's abilities. Passive. Swapping between Sirius and Orion grants 45% ability efficiency for the next 2 casts. When below 50 energy, they will steal energy from each other. That's really funny. I really like that. They have them having decent energy sustain is good because I think that'll encourage people to go like more aggressively into negative efficiency builds, which is generally how I like to play. Though sometimes it shoots me in the foot with frames like Gyre where you need to like cast a bunch of their shit like as soon as you launch into a mission just to like get the ball rolling. But I think that'll be fun to build around. First ability. Coronal Ejection. Sirius. Hurl Sirius's Jade Light Infused Scythe, dealing heat damage while collecting any pickups in its path. Interesting. I like the pickups thing. That's like a nice little detail. Gravitic Slash Orion. Repel enemies with Orion's Sinister Scythe, dealing slash damage and status effect, or reducing shields and armor. The armor strip component of that is going to be the part that people want. There's a lot of armor strips in the game now. So like stuff like pillage and like other armor strip abilities aren't in as high demand as they were like say like a couple years ago. But it's still always useful to have an armor strip. I'd have to see like the like base energy cost of the ability to know how worth it it'll be, but it's their one, so I'd imagine it's fairly cheap to cast. And then slash damage just like isn't as valuable as it used to be post armor rework. But damage is damage. Dante still has like one of the like best damaging abilities in the game, and it's just like slash procs, so like slash is still viable. Second ability, Jade Stars, Sirius. Sirius conjures jade light motes that slowly regenerate over time. Attacking enemies launches the motes, dealing heat damage and status effect. It's null stars. They gave him null stars. I think it would make sense with you being able to give them separate loadouts, sort of trying to do the weapon switching thing in Wilds, but I imagine it would be a long way off. Yeah, I definitely think the technical limitations they're running up against just doing it with the one Warframe are a sign that, like, this is technology that if they wanted to do something like that, it would be, like, well into the future of the game. But if they do it, it'll be sick. But yeah, no, they gave Sirius null stars, which makes Sirius a serious contender. I'm stupid. Makes Sirius a serious contender for like a frame that I'll be playing a fucking lot because null stars is one of my favorite abilities. It doesn't come with the damage reduction that null stars does. So it doesn't seem like as like busted as like a defensive tool. But the fact that they slowly regenerate over time is nice. Warframe isn't even built on top of spaghetti. It is spaghetti. It is. It's that's kind of what happens whenever you make a game like a decade and a half ago and then switch creative leads halfway through. um, it's just the way things go. Uh, but yeah. Where was I? Astral Shell, Orion. Envelop Orion in an astral shell. Upon taking damage, the shell becomes a decoy that draws fire until it's destroyed. Jade Stars and Astral Shell are their Helminth ability. When subsuming this frame, you'll get access to both abilities as an option to infuse in another Warframe. So I wonder if this means that when you infuse them, you get both abilities, or you get to just like pick one when you choose to infuse. Either way, both abilities seem like they would be useful infusions. Man, Dark Sector sucks. Yeah, certainly seems like it. I haven't played it myself. Um, okay. Third ability. Light Sanctuary, Sirius. Sirius creates a well of light that heals and revives allies while reducing incoming damage. The well slowly grows in size and power. Okay. So that is good. That's like a hallowed ground sort of ability, which I like. I like abilities that are I like big stationary abilities for whenever you want to lock down a point and like not die from just like standing in one area. Those are always useful for stuff like defense and other such things. Then Event Horizon, Orion. Orion forms a drifting black hole, trapping enemies within its gravity. Hitting the black hole with gravitic slash or corona ejection will extend its duration and change its trajectory. Gravitic slash will direct it away from Orion, and coronal injection will pull it towards Sirius. You can do some weird shit with that. Um, you're gonna be able to do some crazy like baseball shit. It's just like batting a fucking black hole around the room. It is also their railjack ability, depending on which sun is active. Fourth ability, Celestial Clash. Sirius and Orion take to the skies in a cosmic duel. Each attack consumes a constellation star to inflict colossal collateral blast damage. Match the star's color to the Warframe's color to gain increased critical chance. The color of the next star will be reflected in your UI, which also corresponds to the input needed to attack. Sirius's icon appears on the left side, which are triggered by either the left click or left triggers, and Orion on the right. For those with highly customized bindings, they are assigned to primary attack and aim down sights, respectively. Okay, so you do a little QTE, and they do stacks of blast damage with increased critical chance if you like hit the input correctly. That's fun. I really like that. And I did watch a bit of the like pre-release stream earlier, and I saw that Rebecca was like holding the input, so you can just like use the first two hits of it and then like hold it and walk into the next room and then use the rest of it, which I think is nice. Constellation stars. Constellation stars start appearing once Celestial Clash is unlocked. Generate constellation stars by using abilities. No more than 2 stars of the same color can be added in a row. Sirius's abilities generate round base stars, and Orion's generate diamond base stars. The constellation HUD will also match the star color to each sun's energy channel, default green and red. Sirius and Orion's main blueprint is acquired from completing the Jade Shadows Constellations quest. Sirius and Orion's component blueprints can be earned from the Railjack missions and the new Uranus Proxima. Exchange Emerald or Crimson Talents to get their main or component blueprints, and you can get them from the market individually or as part of a bundle. And their Prex card. It's a pretty Prex card. I really like the like. It almost has like a playing card vibe going on with the two of them. I really like that. Image description. Sirius and Orion's Prex card shows the two suns. On the left and upright is Sirius holding Pride, while upside down to the right is Orion holding Wrath. Both sides are uniquely melded into one being held by both suns. The Prex card is hidden somewhere on Pontus Tower. Maximum loadout slot is increased, as always, when they add a new Warframe, which is good for me, because I like making loadouts. And I have maxed out my slots. New heavy scythes, Pride and Wrath. Pride is Sirius's signature heavy scythe, the pride of one that knows their worth. Hold on a second. Let's see. Unique trait, coronal ejection, slam attacks, grant 15% status chance per enemy hit for 10 seconds. So you get additional status. So it's okay. Yeah. Scrolling down a bit, it looks like each of the sides are leaning towards status and critical builds respectively. Which is cool. I think it's also fun that their unique traits are named after the like scythe abilities that they have on their one. And Pride can be acquired from all the same places we just mentioned. So 50% status chance per enemy hit for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. That'll be strong. That'll be really strong. That'll be really, really strong. I can see melee afflictions being like crazy good on this. Or maybe melee vortex. I don't know. And then Wrath. The Wrath of One Who Knows Revenge is all about timing. That's Orion's signature heavy scythe. Unique trait, Gravitic Slash. Slam grants 15% critical chance per enemy hit for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. Can be earned from the Scoria's Angel's Mission. All the same places. Okay, now we're on to the juicy stuff. Styanax Prime Access. Look at this fucking hunk. God, he's so handsome. I'm so excited. I've literally been saving up all my standing to just like buy as many relic packs as I possibly fucking can. And start farming him immediately. So let me turn down the music a little more. Image descriptions. Styanax Prime readies to throw the Aphentis Prime midair. His golden chestplate with regal helmet with flowing coin-like attachments and blue energy contrast the dust and dirt from where he leapt. And then there's like some Duviri shit in the background. I really like this render. I think it's like a cute little render. Styanax Prime Access. Styanax Prime, Shield of the Innocent, Spear of Justice. Styanax Prime holds the line in defense against tyranny. Due to player feedback, we've added an alt Styanax Prime helmet without the dangling coins. The Styanax Prime Bear helmet will be available once you own Styanax. I like the coins. Cowards. It's fine. I always appreciate extra customization, and maybe I'll end up with like a look where I'm like, I don't know, maybe the coins are like clipping a lot with something else that I have on them and I want to take them off. Known issue, Styanax Prime's accessories color channels currently do not match the layout for his base colors. We are looking to fix, but as an early heads up, once the fix is live, it will change your accessory colors, so follow-up fashion framing may be required. That's fine. Just looking at something really quick. All right, cool. Continuing. Aphentis Prime, the gilded spear gun of Styanax Prime, shines like a beacon across the battlefield, invigorating allies and stunning enemies. Aphrodite Prime, unleash the song of the righteous warrior with this gilded pistol that goes in overdrive on headshot kills, maximizing fire rate and ammo efficiency for a short time. And then this is the cosmetics. Two Stynex primes model the prime accessories. On the left, backing the viewer, we see the Lanix Prime Syndana with white and purple cloth accented with gold. On the right, looking off in the distance, we see the Darius Prime armor with iconic coin-like pieces dangling from the chest armor. Just having a sip of water. Lanix Prime Syndana. Syndana of gold and ethereal glory for intimidation on the battlefield or celebration in the victory parade. Darius Prime armor. This proud panoply declares the wearer's bravery on the field of battle. Is that panoply? I assume it's panoply. Stynex Prime Honoria. Oh, they have Honoria with their fucking things now. I didn't know that. Hot play. Cool. Theros and Axios Prime decoration. Exalted armaments of Stynex Prime that you can hang up in your orbiter. Cool, now that Stynex Prime access is available. Sevagoth, Epitaph, and Nautilus Prime have all been vaulted, so relics of them will no longer drop. If you already have relics, they will remain and you can use them. Riven disposition numbers have been updated. I'm not going to look at all of those because that's a lot of numbers. But the older your weapon is, the higher its disposition is going to get, so just keep that in mind if you want to farm a Riven for a weapon. New Incarnate Genesis, Caballero has expanded his wares. Highly anticipated Stug Incarnate Genesis is here. Joining the Stug are the Vectis, Ballistica, Destreza, and Obex Incarnate Genesis. These Incarnate Genesis are available to earn in the Circuit Steel Path reward track. Once acquired, head over to Caballero and the Chrysalith on the Cereman, where he can help install them on their matching weapons. They'll become available after Weekly Reset this coming weekend. And they'll also be available for purchase from Caballero as normal for Platinum, if you don't want to farm Steel Path Circuit. Image description. The Vectic take on a void-touched aesthetic in its incarnate form. The Vectis takes on a void-touched aesthetic in its incarnate form. Bright blue void energy hums as it curves across the top and sides of the weapon. Vectis Incarnate. Awaken this weapon's ability to fire slowing projectiles that explode upon headshots in incarnate form. That's going to be really good for Cyto 9. That's going to be crazy good for Cyto 9. I can already see that being like a #1 room clearer. Okay, image description. The Stug Incarnate features a stark contrast between its yellow and green colors with that of the pale pewter void-touched coils. Stug Incarnate. Awaken this weapon's ability to unleash a chaotic maelstrom of bouncing corrosive blobs in incarnate form. That's gonna be fun. I want this. I don't want it to be good. I just want it to be fun. Okay, on to the Ballistica. That's cool. You can enjoy it from my foundry. Very good. We'll get you some more slots soon. You just need to fucking progress Nightwave more. Image description. The Ballistica Incarnate is adorned with new void-touched extensions that appear to almost to infuse the crossbow with void energy. Awaken this weapon's ability to fire cross-shaped projectiles high in slash damage in incarnate form. I like that. All of these seem really fun. Sometimes, I think the last incarnate release they did, where they had like, what did they have in that? They had like the Cerberus and like the Sicarus and a few others. I think maybe the Destreza. Or not the Destreza. This is the Destreza. I saw it and it got ordered in my brain. What the fuck was it? The Dara? I don't remember. But that one, I really liked a few of them, and then the rest, I was just like, this doesn't sound very exciting. These all sound like exciting. Like, I would have a lot of fun playing with these. Okay, now for the Destreza. Image description. The Destreza Incarnon adds an intricate extension of the hilt. Void energy in the hilt glows palely in comparison to the sheen on the rapier's blade. Destreza Incarnon awaken this weapon's ability to summon ghostly rapiers that fly forth upon heavy attacks, while heavy attack kills grant puncture damage in Incarnon form. Yeah, okay. Uh, Melee Dodie is going to be like the go-to arcane for this. That's gonna be awesome. Please give me any excuse to use anything but melee influence. Please, fucking god, please. Anyways, continuing on. We'll get you. We'll get you through Nightwave. It's okay. We'll get you through Nightwave. I promise. You will get there. Um, this is why we're progressing you, so that you can unlock things that you can actually do. Um, okay. Image description: the Obex Incarnate hums with void energy as void touch tendrils extend from the front of the handguards. Obex Incarnate base Prisma awaken this weapon's ability to perform a large radial attack for each finisher strike in Incarnate form. And here is the updated rotation schedule for Steel Path Circuit. So the current week has the Dara, Sybaris, Sestra, Sicarus, and Okina, and then next we'll have all of the new stuff. Which I'm going to be honest, I may try and like get all of these. Like I might just like pick 2 to farm from Steel Path Circuit and then just buy the rest with Platinum. All right. I'm gonna go back to BRB for a second because my food is here and I need to go grab it. So, you all can enjoy some music for a moment. I'm back. Um, I have my yummy Chipotle burrito. So I apologize if I am stopping semi-frequently to take bites at that. But I am very hungry. So let's just get back to it. Uh, this is the bit that I'm excited for. New arcanes. Enhance your arsenal with all new arcanes. A new arcane for your Warframe and one for each of your primary, secondary, and melee weapons. Arcane Sculptor. Creating an object with abilities, casts have 175% ability efficiency for 12 seconds. That'll be really good for Foley and a few other frames who I know they mentioned but are not pinging in my brain right now. Primary Compression on aim, 0.2 explosion radius, plus 100 damage, and 5.5 ammo efficiency for every 1 meter radius lost. So, that seems like if you have something like the Kuva Okris or like the Tenet Envoy, like one of those weapons that used to be like really strong before the ammo nerf, um, you'll get some of that efficiency back, as well as additional damage. And it scales based on your radius loss, so you would ideally want to make your blast radius as big as possible. I believe Primed Firestorm is the mod for that. I could be wrong. But that'll be like crazy, crazy good on certain explosive weapons. Secondary Cryogenic. On Puncture, apply 3 cold stacks on targets within 15 meters. So this is puncture damage, actually. That's fun. I'm not sure what weapons that would be good for. Probably like the is it the Ballistica? The Ballistica might be good for that. Melee Assimilation on Shield Break, plus 150 melee damage on heavy attack and heavy attack kills, restore 30% of max shields. So that's good for like a shield gating build. That could be fun. I don't know. I think I'm wondering how that'll stack up against some of the other melee arcanes, but I think if you have a build that has what is it, like catalyzed shields or whatever, the one that like greatly increases your shield regeneration, but also decreases like the max amount of shields you have. I think that would be like a really good combo for this. So like if you have like a Hildren or something with that, or like any other shield gating frame. One arcane is guaranteed end of mission from either of the new Railjack missions, and you can purchase them using talents. Okay, now we're on to the augments. Image description, composite image of 4 Warframe augment mods at max rank, from left to right. Kumihimo loading for Kome, Rhythm Guard for Temple, Reroute Rampage for Noko, and Noctua Swarm for Dante. New Warframe augments. 4 new augment mods are available from faction syndicates to enhance your Warframe's capabilities. Noctua Swarm for Dante is obviously an augment for the Noctua, Dante's Exalted Grimoire. Alternate Fire releases Paragrims that swarm 8 meters around the point of aim for 15 seconds, silencing enemies and stealing their energy for allies. And you can get that from Arbiters of Hexus or Cephalon's Thuda. Reroute Rampage. Collecting reroute orbs summons an additional Sprodling. Summons additional Sprodlings, plural, inflicting 250 toxic damage with increased critical chance each hit. Available from the Parent Sequence and Red Veil. Kumihimo Loading 6 kills with weapons affected by Komei's passive. Give a loaded die that always rolls 6. Hold cast to empower Kumihimo and consume dice. Okay, so that just buffs her 1, which I think is cool. I like Komei's 1. I know some people are a bit hit or miss on her 1 because it's a stationary thing as compared to her 4, which is just in a radius. It is available in Arbiters of Hexus and New Loka. Next up, Rhythm Guard Temple, passive augment. Gain 100 overguard when using an ability on the back beat. Amount doubles up to 1600 per beat, but resets if the beat is missed. Okay, so if you are hitting abilities every other beat, you are getting overguard. But you have to be good at hitting it on the beat. And then new glyphs for Ash and Garuda. Image description, composite image of the Atrograph mods for Ash and Garuda split across 2 rows. Top row shows the full color versions of the mods, while the bottom shows the black and white. From left to right, they are Smoke Shadow, Seeking Shuriken, Bloodforge, and Dread Ward. I really like how Dread Ward looks. That's really cool. Oh, and these aren't glyphs, they're Atrograph mods. So, Chromatic Atramentum can now be applied to the following Garuda and Ash augment mods to give them new Atrograph stylings with art created by the extremely talented Upside Down S'more. Okay, so these aren't like just like shiny color variants like a lot of the Atrograph mods are. These add like new cool ass art to the augments. That makes me actually want to get some of the Atrograph mods. Noctua. Hold on, let me take a bite of my yummy burrito. So, new Atrograph mods, Garuda and Ash augments. Visit Aspirant Zorba just outside the Arbiters of Hexus Enclave in Relays to use Chromatic Atramentum to cosmetically upgrade the following augments. The Dread Ward Garuda augment, Bloodforge Garuda augment, Seeking Shuriken Ash augment, and Smoke Shadow Ash augment. As a reminder, these are purely cosmetic, and you must already own the mod. Players can now access the Create Atrograph mod screen at Aspirant Zorba even if they don't have Chromatic Atramentum. This allows them to preview them before deciding if they want to purchase Chromatic Atramentum. Okay. Market editions. Image description, Sirius and Orion, equipped with Pride and Wrath respectively, are flanked by their mentors. To the left is Ryoku in a soft green Cosmic Haze, and to the right is Fena in a soft red Cosmic Haze. This is the Constellations Complete Collection. Confront the legacy of a doomed future. Is there room for harmony in the present? The Complete Collection includes the Constellations Sirius and Orion bundle and the Constellations Gemini collection. The Constellation Sirius and Orion bundle, what might have been, becomes reality with Sirius and Orion. Assume the full might of dueling dark futures and follow the stars to constellations of combined power. This bundle contains the following items, which can all be purchased separately. Sirius and Orion. We already read this description earlier. We already read all of these as well. You also get Pride and Wrath. They're 2 sides. The Constellations Fusion display. Reality is merely a point of view in this lenticular display, illustrating conflict between what is and what could have been. features art from the Jade Shadows Constellation official animated short by The Line. Spoiler. Decoration. We're avoiding spoiling players before they play the prequel and sequel to the Jade Shadows story. Gifting bonus. Gift this item to another player and receive this gifting bonus in return. Okay, so we get a spoiler decoration. Image description. Vena and Ryoku strike dynamic poses, leaning away from each other. To the left is Vena, 4 talons on each arm, blood red metal claws for hands, and a sadistic grin. To the right is Ryoku, hooded warrior, green cybernetics throughout his armor, and a killer mask. Constellations Gemini collection. Fight an eternal battle for the future with Vena, the blood-loving fanatic, and Ryoku, the cool and calculating killer. The two bitter rivals brought together in this collection of Proto-Frame Gemini skins. Each skin can switch between Warframe and Proto-Frame appearances by activating the corresponding Gemini emote. This bundle contains the following items, which can all be purchased separately. Image description. Vena poses with her right arm across her chest and her left arm on her hip to showcase her talons, a small gemstone in her forehead, and a nose ring connected by a chain to her cybernetic armor, complete her ravishing yet deadly look. Damn, Ryoku's uncut? I didn't know that. We got a hooded hero right here, people. Can we get a round of applause? Okay. Continuing on. Vena Gemini skin. Vena the Witch emerges from a doomed future to put a sadistic smile on Garuda, revel in the blood of all those who stand against her. Vena's bolero can be equipped removed via attachments auxiliary in the arsenal, so you can take her jacket on and off. And Vena's talons can be equipped or removed via Garuda's talons appearance in the arsenals. That is perfectly normal. Vena Gemini emote. It's a Gemini emote. You switch between normal Garuda and Vena just by using the emote. Image description. Ryoku looks beyond us with his brown hood embroidered with light green lines covering his left eye. A futuristic mask, almost Oni-like, complements his integrated cybernetics and metal plating across his body. Ryoku Gemini skin. The keenest blade is a well-ordered mind. Equal parts killer and mentor, Ryoku gives voice to the silent assassin, Ash. Ryoku's cowl can be equipped or removed. Similar to Roth, Ryoku has a unique tint split between his base suit and armor, using the base and attachment color channels. And he has a Gemini emote. And you can buy both of their hairstyles. Image description. 2 operators stand to model Ryoku and Vena's hairstyles. Ryoku's is to the left and is denoted by face-length bangs, a top knot, and singular extending braid from that knot. Vena's, on the other hand, is made up of several long braids beginning from the hairline. Razor's Edge Salon Pack. The future might be doomed, but style doesn't have to be. This collection features the following hairstyles for the Operator and Drifter, which can be purchased separately. Ryoku's hairstyle, her signature hairstyle, and Vena's hairstyle, her signature hairstyle. Image description. Dante Titanus majestically hovers and looks down upon us in his feathered cloak with purple glowing gems. The Noctuolophos floats above his right hand, open and shining, with golden script throughout the tome's pages. Take another bite of my lunch. Cool that they put the lady from Apex in the game. I really like her design. I think genuinely, her proto frame might be my new favorite. Like, I've never really been big on Garuda before. I've played her a bit, and I enjoyed what I played. But I've never really been huge on her. I might have to play her like a lot more now that the skin is out. Okay. Dante Titanus Collection. Choose the path of wisdom with the Dante Titanus Collection. His dark wings harbor secret knowledge and arcane power. This bundle contains the following items, which can all be purchased separately. The Dante Titanus Skin. Knowledge glides on dark wings, silent and sure. Dante Titanus knows wisdom is power. Noctuolophos. The dark feathers of Dante Titanus' exalted tone lift arcane secrets to the skies. Galistrix Warfan Skin. Death soars swiftly closer with Dante Titanus' signature feathered Warfan skin. Image description. Nidus stares off into the distance with his helmet open while standing among his ravenous infestation. I'm very excited for this. This is the Nidus like mini rework that they did. Which I'm really looking forward to because back when he came out, Nidus was my main. I played so much fucking Nidus. And I'm looking forward to him being good in the modern iteration of the game. So, Nidus Retouch. Nidus burst onto the scene in 2016 as the first Warframe to use an alternate cost for ability casting. While his mutation stacks are a cornerstone of his kit, maintaining them has become more and more difficult as Warframe's gameplay loop has become faster. Our goals with this retouch are to improve his overall rate of mutation stack acquisition and sprinkle in some general quality of life changes as well. Were they designed by the guy who did the Valkyrie heirloom? I don't know. Maybe. That is something you would have to look up. I don't have that information off the top of my head. Stat changes. Increased Nidus' health from 555 to 675, and Nidus Prime's health from 650 to 825, and doubled his innate health regeneration. Passive. Increased the maximum mutation stacks from 100 to 200. Improved mutation stack counters ability to track rapid stack growth, as sometimes it would take a while to catch up. Abundant Mutation Augment increases the mutation stacks further from 200 to 300. Ability 1, Virulence. Virulence is often cast over and over to quickly build mutation stacks. Our aim with the following changes were to make Virulence more impactful when building mutation stacks while hopefully reducing the need to spam cast. It now does damage upon initial hit and then continues to do damage over time for any enemies touched during its duration. This initial damage and the damage over time both contribute towards mutation stacks, meaning Virulence won't have to be spammed to quickly gain mutation stacks. The energy refund on hit still only applies to the initial hit. Virulence's duration now scales with ability duration. Also slightly increased the base duration of Virulence growths. Okay. So you can keep Virulence out longer because it now has this damage over time effect. Let's see. Improved Virulence's ability to move across surfaces of varying heights. Fucking thank you. Updated ability description to specify damage type, impact, and clarify damage done per mutation stack. Okay. Teaming Virulence Augment. Increased primary weapon critical chance from 120 to 150. So just a nice little bump. I don't really use that augment a lot, but mayhaps I can try building around it, see what it can do. Ability 2, Larva. Larva is a crowd control tool that synergizes with Virulence, but it was in need of a slight quality of life lift. Larva's chance to generate a mutation stack now scales with ability strength up to 100% chance. Larva can now be recast, which will remove the previous larva in the process. Okay, that's really good. I hated that you couldn't recast it, but now you can. Larva Burst Augment now applies 1 guaranteed toxin status effect for every enemy grabbed. It would previously only apply 1 instance of the status to each enemy, but now the number scales with the number grabbed. That is much better. That makes that augment like actually usable. Parasitic Link. The most pressing issue to address with Parasitic Link was its ease of use, especially for controller and mobile players. The goal of these changes is to make Parasitic Link more forgiving to cast and maintain. Improve the targeting on Parasitic Link, as it would often require too much precision for a fast-moving game. Recasting will also now immediately move the Parasitic Link to a new target. Players can recast Parasitic Link on the same target to refresh duration. Parasitic Link no longer costs mutation stacks to cast, it only costs energy. Added a 3-second grace period before the link breaks. Specters and free-moving companions like Kavats can now also be targeted. The augment is unchanged. Ravenous, this is the big one. Ravenous is a good representation of our technical limitations from 2016, and the changes below illustrate how far we've come since then. This ability benefits the most in this retouch from our work on other Warframe abilities, namely Uriel and Vauban's rework. Ravenous's radius now scales with ability range. Thank you. Increased health regen per second from 20 to 75. That's pretty significant. Healing pulses now also cleanse status. That's very significant. That now it has like effectively a hallowed ground effect. Maggot improvements. Maggots now trigger Summoner's Wrath. Oh my god. Is fucking are the fucking summoner builds the future of Nidus? That would be awesome. Legitimately would be so cool. Let's see. Improved maggots targeting, logic, and overall speed. Reduce the maggot spawn delay. Recasting Ravenous to refresh its duration will now cause maggots to explode. Added damage numbers to maggots' attacks. I wonder, will they also trigger Arcane Truculence then? I'd have to imagine so. If they count as summons for Summoner's Wrath, they have to count as summons for Arcane Truculence. Added damage numbers to maggots' attacks. Fixed newly spawned maggots not taking Nidus's updated mutation stacks into account for damage scaling. And they kept the augment the way it was. Okay, QOL stuff. Image description. Screenshot of the interior of a Corpus ship with a planet visible through a window to the left and a statue of Parvos Granum in the center of the room to the right. Overhead lights create realistic shadows across different areas of the ship, and a slight haze can be seen behind the statue. Take another bite of my food. Corpus ship relight. You may have traversed the hallways of Corpus ships before, but you've never seen them like this. Corpus ship levels have been relit with our new GI volume technology, along with a reworked lighting color palette for better pathing and enhanced quality. With the new GI volume technology, players can expect to experience... Sorry, just a sec. Players can expect to experience new Froxel-based volumetric fog, which means more realistic and light-reactive fog, and God rays within missions. Greater reflection parity for warframes, which results in more accurate reflections on surfaces as you explore the tile sets. Improved visual fidelity for both characters and environments, and relit cinematics for the Sisters of Parvo's quest. Prepare to immerse yourself in our upgraded environments as you squash the Corpus's means for profit. Image description. On the left, a Lisette flies towards a junction in space with an azure trail following its thrusters. A column of energy can be seen throughout the center of the junction, culminating in a massive energy orb firing a beam into the distance. Junction Spectre changes. The Venus, Saturn, and Eris junction bosses have received a refresh. The Volt, Ember, and Mesa Spectres have been updated with mechanics from their Prime Vanguard counterparts. Our goal with this change is to make these fights compelling while being mindful of difficulty concerns since defeating them is critical for player progression. Other Spectre-specific changes. Halved the damage bonus of the Saren Spectre's Toxic Lash. Valkyr Spectre now casts abilities more consistently. Junction-wide changes. Added ammo and energy pickup generators to all Junction Spectre arenas. Standardized damage resistances for Junction Spectres to match that of the primed Vanguard. Removed shields from Junction Spectres and increased their health to compensate. Okay, and now we're on to what is maybe the most requested feature of all time in this fucking game. Image description. Screenshot with visual presentation of the different positions for the side and far presets. From the side preset, denoted by a yellow silhouette, Rhino is slightly to the left versus the default position. From the far preset, denoted by a green silhouette, Rhino is slightly smaller in portion than the default position and is shifted to the right. New camera position setting. Added the camera position feature to user interface settings, which allow players to customize their camera offset. This new setting comes with 3 options. Default, the standard camera position, what you're used to in Warframe currently. Side offset, the camera is further to the side. This setting also respects your chosen side of the screen if you use the reverse camera input. And far offset, the camera is further back and higher up, giving you the greatest visibility of the 3. That one will particularly be useful if you're a fan of any of the ephemeras or Sciendanas that unfortunately block a large portion of the screen. Okay. Knockdown system improvements. Knockdowns from enemies now use the same animations as the self-stagger system, meaning you'll no longer be knocked straight on your back from a Grineer Heavy Gunner's slam. Increased the knockdown recovery window from 70 milliseconds to 433. Jumping or rolling during this window will allow you to recover more quickly. Okay, so recovery takes longer, but you can recover pretty much immediately if you press an input. So that feels more intuitive. Warframes will now flash briefly if they have successfully recovered from a knockdown. Image description, Kome aims at a burning enemy who is afflicted with several statuses. The enemy's health bar is split into 3 segments, orange, green, and gray, where green represents the new damage over time portion. Damage over time preview. Damage over time, status effects are now reflected by a new damage over time preview indicator on health bars, showcasing the exact amount of damage they will deal over their duration. This new indicator will display the damage that will be dealt across health, shields, and/or overguard. Damage over time that applies lethal damage will result in a black outline around the health bar. This indicator only applies to dot from status effects, not abilities that deal damage over time. For example, damage from Saren's spores will not be reflected in this new indicator, but damage from the status effects dealt by Kome's Bunraku will. Players can change the color of this indicator via the Customize HUD Color screen in the accessibility settings. Other quality of life changes. Reworked the level design of the rotating defense and interception variant tile in Grenier's C-Lab tile set to improve pathing and overall gameplay flow. Thank you. I've been running that mission a lot lately, and it's been getting on my fucking nerves how every time it rotates, I end up, like, bonking into walls trying to get to the next defense objective. The path between objectives is now much clearer and features easy-to-access zip lines between defense or interception targets. This reworked tile also features improved lighting and environmental art. Take a bite. Okay. Excuse me. Vendors with rotating or purchase limit wares have an updated wares refresh in description above the ware rotation timer. Previously, the text would say time left to trade for all vendors with a timer, but that was leading to confusion that the store would expire instead. Introduced a more aggressive stuck detection system in defense, Netracell, and survival missions to address cases of enemies idling outside of active gameplay areas. That would be really nice because I hate having to like go into the middle of fucking nowhere to find an enemy that has just kind of like wandered off when I need to be killing enemies. Added the ability to customize reticule enemy highlight color via the Customize HUD Colors menu in the accessibility settings. This allows players to change the tint of the reticule. Current default is red when an enemy is within its sights. Added drag to swap and randomize functionality to individual tint channels in the appearance tab in the arsenal. This functionality existed in other appearance screens, but now applies to Warframe and other equipment customization. I'm very excited about that one. Garuda's Talons appearance changes. Garuda Tenijin skins can now be applied to her prime talons independent from the equipped skin. Selecting the None option will default her talons to match the currently equipped skin. Also fixed Garuda's Talons playing their open-close animations when customizing colors in the arsenal. Captura quality of life. Added a use original level post FX toggle to Captura settings. Toggle on to enable the post VFX from the original gameplay tile instead of the Captura scene. Added spawn at aim point toggle for spawning enemies in Captura. Enemies will spawn in facing where your reticle is located. This is enabled by default, but can be checked off in the spawn menu. Removed the randomization on locked/unlocked doors in the Corpus Outpost objective tiles. Example, Sao Neptune. The route to enter this room was randomized based on what doors were open closed, which also confused the waypoint system and thus the player on how to access it. Warframes and companions now will share full affinity for a kill if they dealt damage to the enemy shortly before it was killed by the other party. Fucking thank you! That's huge. That's massively huge. I'm sick of companions stealing my affinity. Only 2 hours left to work. Yay! Hooray. I'm glad. once I'm done with patch notes, I'm probably going to hop off and do a few things I need to get done before tonight, and then I will reward myself with the funny new quest. And then if you're on later, and you want to do the quest yourself, we can then perhaps do some of the railjack together, if you're interested. um, so, let's see here. Improve gas city tile generation to prevent long tiles spawning ahead of the defense target so players don't have to run a long distance to get to the objective. You can now sort by base Parazon mods in the Parazon upgrade screen. You can now mute the music in the launcher from the speaker icon in the top right corner. Additions. Added 50 new Hulvania-themed dojo decorations. This is the final batch of the Hulvania decorations that were originally shown on DevStream 184. Added new SFX for when a player uses the context action to stealth kill. Added new Honoria for completing various activities such as Eidolon hunting, conservation, Archimedia missions, and more. Added the new Dreamcatcher Honoria for referring a friend as part of our Refer a Friend refresh. Added new waypoint icons for those placed by clanmates, friends in your clan, and friends. Image description from left to right. There are 3 icons used to depict waypoints, the first being a shield with clan members written below. The second is a silhouette of a shield as a face and a person as the body, with clan friends written below. The final icon is the silhouette of a person with friends written below. Added the Yoreli Prime theme Wave Rider Soma chord track to Varzia's wares for Aya. Added the Strong United emote. It changes based on the number of clan members who use it together, max of 4. This emote, alongside the clan glyph prism, will be delivered by inbox message to all existing Tenno in clans and whenever a person joins a clan. Visual update for the Holdfasts. The Holdfasts have received a visual refresh featuring new suit materials, updated skin shaders, and improved lighting. Image description. Screenshot of a before and after of Archimedean Yanta with visual updates to suit materials, skin shaders, and lighting. Yeah, those skin shaders change a lot. Her face looks like almost completely different. But if you look closely, the shape is the exact same. It's literally just the shaders. Yeah, no, I think, I'm hoping they're going to work backwards and do some of the earlier hub areas like Cetus and Fortuna. Just because like a lot of the face models made with like their old tech are really like weird looking. Image description. Screenshot of a before and after of Cavallero with visual updates to suit materials, skin shaders, and lighting. Image description. Screenshot of a before and after of Hombask with visual updates to suit materials, skin shaders, and lighting. Image description. Screenshot of a before and after of Quinn with visual updates to suit materials, skin shaders, and lighting. Oh god, he looks so much better. And that there's no more of that like harsh yellow light that was there. Oh, that looks so good. Changes. Updated the name of the Pride color palette to Colors of Pride. This palette was originally released for Pride back in 2021 that features the rainbow stripes from the Pride flag when we released the Pride Celebrations palette the following year with the addition of the Progress flag colors. Since then, we have not returned to the original Pride palette until today. It will be available shortly in the in-game market for 1 credit alongside the other Pride items for the remainder of Pride Month. Don't miss out on the stunning palette. Happy Pride Tenno. Made the following changes to SSAO and SSGI. Quality preset changes. Medium is now a new mode that is a scaled down version of very high. Low is the same as the previous medium setting. SSGI can now be enabled on medium, high, and very high SSAO settings. Reduced haloing and ambient occlusion, reduced noise in SSAO on very high, reduced noise in SSGI, improved sharpness, reduced color bleeding in TAA. So, bunch of graphic shit. Updated the Stug to improve ease of use with the following changes. Projectiles have improved stacking collision to make stacking easier. Blobs which reach 10 stacks now immediately explode. Improved the charge speed of the alt fire and increased the number of stacks shot at maximum charge, now 10 from 6. Updated the visuals of the projectiles and projectile explosions. Improved the appearance of the waterfall in the Awakening quest. Choose primary and secondary melee waypoints now disappear once players choose a weapon in the quest. Previously, they would disappear once they approached, which means that players sometimes missed them. Updated Quanta's unique trait description to give specific stats on what it does. Now reads, alternate fire launches energy cubes that explode after 8 seconds or when hitting enemies. Shoot a cube to cause a chain detonation with ×4 damage bonus and 6-meter radius. Sentient Sumulist now has animations for Max Crush, Sleep, and Electric Stuns. Clan members and friends Honoria will no longer appear in the clan and friend screens to prevent confusion. Players can still see them by hovering over their name. Remastered the mission load-in SFX across various missions. Updated the description of gear embargo in Archimedia missions to better explain how it applies to specific gear with the change in hotfix. Now reads, all gear restricted except for arc guns, atomocycles, and necromechs. Updated teeth material to avoid metallic and or washed out looking chompers. Changed the default text size from small to medium. Made small adjustments to camera movement when mantling so you can see better. Updated the icon for the Vauban heirloom sigil. To address the exploits that were happening with discount coupons, we've changed discount coupons to bonus coupons for Epic Game Store players. To learn why this change was made, read our PSA, which I am not going to read. Creator mode will now hide the IP address in the strict NAT pop-up. The Gauss Moto skin will now play the entirety of the Gauss Prime Redline theme while in Redline, and will start at different points in the song whenever the ability is activated. Removed the outdated Inspect feature from the leaderboards. You can still view player profiles in many other ways. Moved the UI cursor sensitivity, UI cursor acceleration, and UI cursor magnetism settings from the interface settings to the controller settings. VRAM utilization improvements. Historically, Warframe was overly conservative with VRAM on Windows and would often leave multiple gigabytes unused on even mid-tier systems. Now, where possible, Warframe will take advantage of unused VRAM on Windows to improve performance of texture and mesh streaming. While there shouldn't be much of a difference on arrival, after exploring a mission, you are likely to see an increased VRAM usage visible either in the in-game FPS display or through some external tool, and in return you might see less micro-stutters due to streaming. This change may also improve stability on older systems with less VRAM to begin with, or systems being forced to share VRAM with another program left running. And then all of this is optimization shit. They push out so much of this shit every single patch. I'm not going to read through all of it. And finally, fixes. I'm going to skim these and just read ones that sound funny or interesting. Jade's Glory on High and Hildren's Balefire weren't able to damage Arctic Eximus bubbles? Shows what I know. Let's see, tech rot spores. Couldn't destroy tech rot spores. I didn't know that. Correction drifts. Aura strength does not apply to power donation. Oh, people were negating the heat damage that you get from fucking up Truth's Flame by using status negation. That's funny. Um, some players were not rewarded the Awakening Soma Cord after completing the quest. Fixed transmission VO being cut off. Uh, Warframe stopped benefiting from companion mods. See. Fixed large delay after the first use of transference in a hub. I did notice that. There is a very long delay when you do that. Fixed more cases of hidden Tauron nodes causing focus upgrade available notifications appearing for players with maxed out focus schools, but who haven't yet acquired a Tectalist artifact to unlock them after completing Old Piece. Fucking thank you! That one's for me, because I haven't farmed Parita Rebellion enough to get all my shit yet. But I had like 2 or 3 different notifications for focus schools going, hey, you have an upgrade available. And I'd be like, oh, really? And check, and then there's not. Take another bite. Fixed Molcog. Excuse me. Fixed Molt augmented not stacking when kills are not directly made by the Warframe, such as Noko Well and Reroot or Inaros and Sevagothwell in their death passes. That's important. That can fuck you if you're not building your stacks, because that's the entire point of Molt augmented. Let's see. Fixed Foley's Shadow Graph. Power cells not working on Descendia excavators. That seems important. Let's see. Mission fixes. Fixed NPC defense targets no longer following players after transference. Fixed APC turrets not targeting people in Helvania tiles. I did notice they just kind of sit there a lot. I wasn't sure how the targeting worked on those, but apparently it was bugged. Let's see. Seeing a black screen upon returning from a host migration if one occurred right after a Technosite Coda cinematic in the showdown. Fixed impact Kuvalich's leash attacks, knocking Grendel out of the map while in pulverized form. That's really funny. Narmer Deacons being counted as enemies and Shrine Defense missions in the Descendia. That's... I have seen that happen. That is annoying. Fixed clients being unable to use security bypasses during a survival mission. They tried to activate one while landing. Fixed Acolyte Malice teleporting players out of bounds in stage defense missions is really funny. Just, whoop, you're gone. And then some cosmetic fixes. UI fixes. Seated waypoint markers. I'm glad they've been addressing those because they've been weird lately. A lot of shit. Oh my god. Okay. I'm not going through the rest of these. This is quite a lot of stuff. If you want to read through all of these fixes yourself, you can. The patch notes are publicly available. But I think that is going to be all for me. Thank you guys for joining me. I have to go do some work stuff and take care of some things around the house before tonight. And then I will perhaps play the quest on my own time. My throat is simply too sore to continue doing it on stream. But with that said, this has been very fun. Thank you all for joining me, and I will talk to you another time.